Hey everyone, welcome to What's Happening in Real Estate this week with Conrad Zerini with Remax Escarpment and Remax Niagara Broker Record, and we got Brian Hogman, Mission 35 Mortgages, and myself. Big news, this came across my social media, and it says, we don't sleep well anymore. Airbnb host grapples with tenant from hell who refuses to leave. You know what? I'm surprised that this hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is happening. We just don't hear about it. This tenant or this person, I guess rented it for a month or whatever. Now she's not leaving and she wants $100,000. Hey, you want me out? Give me $100,000. I think you know what? I think she'll get the $100,000 because this looks like a $5+ million house, right?
House, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like. Isn't that crazy that this could happen? And then what is it? Airbnb says, well, because it went down, it was a long-term Airbnb tenant or whatever. We're not insuring. Like, see how fast they back away. Hey, when it comes to paying anything, nobody wants to take responsibility. But this guy here has a nightmare client or whatever is not leaving, and there's issues that they have to fix the house with to follow code with the city, and she's not even letting them to do that. So, Conrad, like is it the media that's like causing this, or is it like what's going on? Like even Ontario, you got to wait 10 months before you get a hearing, and if you spell one spelling mistake on a form, you're kind of screwed.
Well, it's outrageous, especially when you compare, I've leased product in the U.S. and it's a completely different animal. Like state to state, it's maybe marginally different, but here it's very pro tenant. And the fact that now in this case, she's got tenancy just because, is it a definition of tenancy? It's outrageous. And Airbnb is taking it all over the place. New York just eliminated Airbnb. Ottawa's now talking about it. And, they say about Airbnb getting rid of it in New York. So I don't know if you guys have followed it, but New York was the second highest property values in per capita property values in the U.S. So now they've dropped to third spot. Florida took over, and California is still up at the top. But yeah, and a lot of times what they're saying is it's partially to this Airbnb crackdown that they felt diminished values in New York as well. So interesting.
I always tell people when they're looking at it and they're thinking of doing Airbnb, I always say, guys, always look at what you can get for long-term rent. Airbnb is a bonus because that is kind of a funny playing field that you're going in because you never know what changes. And you can make a lot of money. Phil's got an Airbnb and he's making crap loads of money on it, but they're changing laws and he may have to do long-term rental on it. And so it's just, but look at this. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner. I'm surprised. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody just say, hey, can I rent your unit for 2 weeks? And all of a sudden they're there for 2 years and not paying anything. I'm just shocked about that.
Well, I think it doesn't fall under the long-term act that way, right? And I think with the short-term stuff, it works great for primary residence. You got we see lots of people, primary residence, mom, dad live far away. They rent out the place for a weekend, a week, 2 weeks. I think that works awesome still for Airbnb. But this is terrifying. This is worse than renting out your bed we were talking about last week. So.
Oh, yeah. No kidding. No.
Well, wait a minute.
Well, maybe it's on par with renting out your bed. I don't know. But maybe in conjunction.
Yeah, I don't know. The documentation is pretty ironclad. Airbnb consulted a lot of lawyers in state to state and province to province. I think this is just somebody, squatting at this point because those documents are pretty, they're licensees. You're using it as a licensee. There's no tenancy. They sign off on it. They're just this person's just trying to.
They should. You know what? He should have the police there right away the day after, and have this lady removed from the premises. Yeah. But I think this guy is just a doctor. He's too busy and to pay attention. And this person probably stayed there for another week. He didn't even know it, or who knows. But usually you have cleaning people going in there and cleaning the place up for the next person to go in and use it. But I'll tell you, I don't know, these Airbnbs, young people that buy them, and they have this kind of mess happening to them, it could bankrupt them. They're,
if it gets out,
it's just It's tough out there. People are mean. They're not good. And I'm just surprised. Like this lady. Like, how come nobody does this to the mob? Nobody stays.
There's a reason.
Yeah. I noticed the mob never has landlord-tenant issues. I noticed biker gangs don't have landlord-tenant issues. Why is that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just that people move in. Okay, I'm moving out. You got 60 days notice. I'll be out in 30 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they'll you know what I mean? Like I think that's how things got to be run. You got to put fear. Say, listen. But anyway,
well, it seems like the Canadian way. Like, and not to get off topic, but Brian and I were talking about this whole thing with the grocery stores and clamping down on grocery stores to give out more coupons. Like, guys, like that's the Canadian way, right? You know what I mean? They just trying to go in there when some people are trying to earn a little bit of money and extra money and try to build some wealth through real estate in this fashion. And then things like this happen. And then the media just loves to exploit it because now everybody's going to think twice about doing it, right? So everybody's all on it, right? So. Oh
yeah, and I get it. It's not for everybody. You know who turned an Airbnb? It's on. I can't remember what street. You'll know right away. The Laundry Room on. Augusta. Yeah. So and he turned that's a beautiful building he built there.
Yeah, it is.
I think every unit in there, it's a certified Airbnb. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Like he registered it and everything.
Yeah, it's like a hotel.
Yeah, and he's
got one in Kitchener. I thought too is Kitchener as well. I thought. Yeah.
He has one. He has another one there too.
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. It's the guy from the French.
Yes.
No.
French, no. We're talking. Are you talking about the restaurant? Are we talking the actual guy that built that?
Well, the guy that built it, it's partnership with I think it's the builder and the owner of the French. Yeah.
Is that right?
It's his concept. This guy's he's doing nice things in Hamilton in building. Beautiful building.
This guy needs an award. I know his last name, but what do you know his company name? What's his company name?
Isn't it called Urban Core or something?
No, it's Core Urban Development. Core
Development.
Core Urban. Yeah, sorry.
And then he just
Core Urban's the one that built the building. They did all 3 of those buildings down there, and
they did a fantastic job. I may not be pronouncing right.
As rentals, and then he came and leased them all out. Like, I think they built it as rentals, and then so there was like a purpose-built rental, and then the laundry room came and leased them all out for the Airbnb. So pretty neat idea.
I think the guy's name's Kalkowski or something like that.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Kalkowski. So this guy, I'm going to tell you how good of a guy he is. On Augusta Street, he could have gone higher on his building, but he didn't want to because he knew the sun would have had a shade on the properties across the street. He didn't go as high. Wow. This guy cares about Hamilton. Awesome. He cares about the people. Look at the building he built on James Street. Like, did you see? Like, it looks like that building was there. Like, it was built in the early 1900s. Like, he did a beautiful job on the facade of it. This guy needs to be honored in Hamilton to show. Like, he's done a beautiful job.
He did a deal with Mission Services with a swap. Yeah. It was amazing. Yeah, like he's done some great. And he believed in the city when no one else did. So yeah, you're right. I agree. He should get a.
Well,
100%.
And their business plan, because I've talked to Steve. Our daughters are actually in the same class at school. And
so you know this guy.
His business plan is all around Hamilton. It's actually very refreshing to hear, because when you hear a lot of different businesses, they want to expand wider, and he's gone really, really deep in Hamilton. And I think it's a great thing. The business plan revolves around restoring and beautifying Hamilton.
I love the guy. I look at every building that he's building. And I go, wow, this guy's doing a fantastic job. He's got nice. And you know what? And from what I understand, for him to do that front facade that he did on James Street, it cost him more money. Like, he could have gone differently. But Conrad, you know about development and buildings and these things. Like, for him, what he did on James, was that like would that have been an expense that a lot of people would have spared?
Oh yeah, totally. That's because we're in the gig, and I see it all the time because I'd love to do much more, but it comes at a price. It's like threefold what it would normally cost. It's amazing. The guy deserves a lot of credit. Lots of credit.
This guy, I'm surprised. I am surprised we don't read about this guy more, but because he's doing such a great job. But anyway, back to the Airbnb. That's Airbnb, so that's locked in. That's fantastic. But how do you prevent like this? Like, what do you do? How do you prevent this from happening to other people? Because now this story's out. Now people are going to go, hey, there's an idea. I can rent this. So somebody can leave their long-term rental, right? Because they're getting evicted. Look for an Airbnb to move into, and guess what? Bang. You know what I mean? After they've done their
keep the duration low, right? Like keep the duration much smaller.
Yeah, like think about it. You got a tenant. He's not paying. You serve him notice. He stays there for 10 months until he goes to arbitration with the landlord-tenant board. And then he goes, okay, now it's time for me to get out. He's got the sheriff ready to lock the doors. He'll go to an Airbnb unit, stay there for another 10 months and not pay. And I'm telling you,
well, then you're going to go to credit checks and all that kind of stuff, right? Then there's going to be a little bit of deeper dive, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think? That kind of thing, right? And maybe they're going to have to get tenant. They're going to have to go to some sort of rating system too. Like let's say Uber does, rate the tenant, rate the, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So you might see some of that coming into play with technology and stuff. So then you'll know this guy is not a really great.
I wanted to create a site that said, I actually did create the site. It was called, and I knew what you could do. It couldn't do it. It was called Bad Tenants or something.com, Bad Tenants. And basically if there was a bad tenant in there, you could actually go in and put their name and everything. So somebody can, hey, listen, I want to know if this is a bad tenant. And you could put pictures of the tenants in there too, so you got the right person, right? So I still own the domain name.
The Bad Tenant Facebook group. That's what it is.
Yeah, but you know what? You need to do it. You could do bad landlords too, everybody. I'm not just going after tenants.
Sure. I'm sure that one already exists.
But equal opportunity.
Exactly. But so I created a site, and then I had some of my bad tenants on there. It didn't pick any traction, but I don't think you could do it. So I took it down, and nobody really saw it, but I didn't really promote it or anything like that. But I'm telling you, they got Google reviews. We need something to prevent other people having problems. And I'll give you a perfect example. I had a tenant in Grimsby. Terrible. This guy was bad news. Anyway, and I finally got him out. And I said, I'm tracking this guy because he's going to screw the next landlord. And I had him followed to the next place he was moving to, and he ended up in Niagara Falls. And I go like this to him. I knock on his door, shocked. And I said, hey, I think you forgot something. And then I called the owner of that house, and I says, do not give that guy any room. Don't give him, if he's going to give you an excuse, he's going to screw you because he screwed me. He wasn't there very long. Because that's the main objective of that guy. I didn't want to see the next nice guy get screwed, and that's terrible.
Know what? I got screwed on one for about $8,000 out of a place. It was the longest drawn out. And what I learned from it too is always check the credit report. And what for the landlords out there, make sure, because I went to go through the process of trying to collect. It was way too long and cumbersome. So now I just sell the debt to a collection company. Sell it 20 cents on the dollar. You know what I mean? If they owe me, and I don't get much, but you know what happens? The collection company, the first thing they do, register it on the credit report. Now, if that guy, girl ever wants to get credit in the future, or the landlord checks it, it's on there.
Yeah, and they have, and in order for them to get any loans or anything, they're gonna say you're gonna have to pay this guy
totally.
out. Yeah,
you got it. Totally.
I got one. I've got to do, and I got to find a good. You use the same collection agency that, like Conrad, you have a collection agency that you guys do, don't you? Like everybody.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
I gotta get that. I gotta get that from you, because you know what? Like, what happens is, it is tough. You get the collection agency. There's going to be a time they need to get a cell phone. Car loan, mortgage down the road. Guess what? They say, well, you know that guy that you kind of screwed over about 5 years ago or 10, or even 20 years ago? Well, guess what?
Yeah,
you're gonna have to pay them. And guess what? And there's interest on top of that. So and then all of a sudden you get that phone call. You know what I mean? You get the phone call. But I get you. It's terrible. I feel sorry for this doctor that has that house and he's got this person. I guarantee he'll pay out the $100,000, or who knows? Maybe she's embarrassed because it's hitting all the newspapers.
Two-way street.
Newspapers.
Yeah.
Two-way street.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you guys for being in that Win in Any Market at the Burlington Performing Arts Center. We had over 300 people there. We had Tatiana Londano there. She's a big guru on social media. She was fantastic. A lot of positive comments on the 2.5 hour segment we did. And it's nice. It's just 2.5 hours. People absorb so much information in a short period of time and get out. Not a long drawn out all day thing. So anyway, guys,
you got a recipe for success there. Yeah,
Aaron, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
and
Rob.
have a happy Thanksgiving weekend. Take care.
You too, Rob.
Thanks.
Ciao.